Hello. For my research project, I examined federal sentencing outcomes for Asian offenders. More specifically, if Asian offenders experience similar disparities to other minority offenders. I am interested in this topic because it is important to know if all minorities experience disparities, and if not, what could be causing the difference and how that could be used to help eliminate the disparities present for Black and Hispanic offenders. I discovered this topic by reading the article Punishing the Model Minority Asian American Criminal Sentencing Outcomes in Federal District Courts by Brian Johnson and Sarah Betzinger. Their article uses data from 1997 to 2000, therefore, I thought I could do a follow up of sorts using similar sources with more current data sets. Johnson and Betzinger used data from the Bureau of Justice Statistics and the United States Sentencing Commission. They found that Asian offenders received sentence outcomes similar to whites in all categories they examined. These categories were sentence length, incarceration rate, and the rate of downward departures from sentencing guidelines. They also included conviction rates in the data, however, they did not discuss those numbers. They found that Asian offenders are about equally as likely as white offenders to receive beneficial departures from sentencing guidelines with 13% and 11% likelihood, respectively. Johnson and Betzinger also found that Black offenders experienced a disparity with only an 8% chance of receiving a downward departure. Strangely, they found that Hispanics did not experience a disparity. Rather, they had a significantly higher rate than all other minority groups at 26%. Johnson and Betzinger cite this to the use of early disposition programs in southwestern districts with heavy immigration caseloads. For sentence length, they found that Asian offenders received the shortest sentence lengths than any racial or ethnic group. They also found that whites and Hispanics received nearly the same sentence lengths. Once again, Johnson and Betzinger identified a disparity for Black offenders receiving significantly longer sentences than all other groups. Asian offenders also had the lowest incarceration rate of all groups at 71%. They found that whites were at a rate of 74%. Both Black and Hispanic offenders experienced disparities, with Blacks receiving incarceration 85% of the time and 93% for Hispanics. Johnson and Betzinger's data included statistics about the conviction rates. However, they did not discuss these statistics. I included these statistics both from their work and my more recent data sets because it can be an additional indicator of disparity. Johnson and Betzinger's data represented that Asian offenders had the lowest conviction rates of all groups. It also showed that white and Hispanic offenders had about the same conviction rate, and Blacks experienced a disparity, having worse conviction rates than all others. The data I collected was in various reports from the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the BJS, and the United States Sentencing Commission, the USSC, all dated from 2012 and 2013. I found that Asian offenders once again did not experience any disparities in federal sentencing. In a BJS report from 2013, I found that Asian offenders' incarceration rate is only 64%, while white offenders had a 79% incarceration rate. I also found that Black and Hispanic offenders were more likely to be incarcerated with rates of 82% and 81%, respectively. In that same report, I found that Asian offenders also received the shortest sentences with an average of about 45 months. Whites' average sentence length was roughly 47 months. I also found that Black offenders had the highest disparity with an average sentence length of 83 months. In a 2012 USSC report, I found similar results for average sentence length, with Asians receiving the shortest sentence lengths, although not significantly shorter than white offenders. I found that Black and Hispanic offenders experienced a disparity in sentence length, receiving much longer sentences than white offenders. In the same report, I found data that showed that Asians were 24.4% more likely than whites to receive beneficial departures from sentencing guidelines. I also found that white offenders were 19.2% more likely than a Black offender to receive a downward departure. This report did not have sufficient data about sentencing departures for Hispanic offenders. A different 2013 USSC report contained data about conviction rates. This report showed that Asian offenders constituted only 4.1% of federal convictions, continuing to have the lowest conviction rates of all racial and ethnic groups. Johnson and Betzinger found that Asian offenders did not experience a disparity and were highly likely to be sentenced similarly to white offenders.